we are going to create an array and print out all the values in it. So I have a class here that I've started called printArray. I've done a little bit of documentation already, and now here in the main method I've put two lines of comment, one that I'm going to declare and create the array, and then once that's finished we're going to loop through it and print each value one at a time, and we're just going to print them to the usual system.out. There's no GUI for this one. So let's start with a declaration, and this time I'm going to have an array of strings. So you put in the type string and then those two sort of square brackets, which for me are next to my P key on the keyboard to the right. So an array of strings, and I'm going to call this array family. And a couple of different ways to declare the array. I'm going to show you both. I'll do one and then the other immediately after. I'm going to erase it and show you another way. So I've declared the variable, and I'm going to assign it to be a new string array. And so when I do this, that gives me the new array, and it is of length 4. There are 4 spaces, or room for 4 elements in there. And then for each one, I would fill it by saying family at, starting at 0 equals, and then some value here. But instead of that sort of longish way to do things, I'm going to instead use a curly brace to declare the array all at once. And so the first value is this name, and the second value is this name, and the third value is this name, oops, and the fourth value is this name. And these are the names in my family. So that's me and my wife and my 2 kids. So there is an array. It's called family. It is of length 4, and it's filled with string values. So I've done it all in one line now. If this was a really, really long array, this wouldn't look very nice, and you might want to do something different. All right, now we're ready to have a loop. There are a couple of ways to do the looping part too. I'm going to show you sort of the classic way to do things with a for loop. And we often use an integer I. So we're declaring that integer I, and we're going to set it to 0. And the reason it's 0 is that the array indices, or the index values in the array, start at 0. So my values go from 0 to 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. Those are the positions in the array. So I'm going to loop through, and I'm going to continue as long as this value I is less than the length of my array. Now I could type in the value 4 right there because I happen to know the length of this array is 4, but it's a good idea to just reference this value here. Family.length in lowercase letters will give you the length of the array, which in this case will be 4. So then this loop will run when I is 0, 1, 2, and 3. That's 4 values. And then when I is 4, it won't run. Each time through, we are going to increment I by 1. And what are we going to do each time? I want to print each value. So system.out.println, and I'm going to give you a little bit of detail. The let's see, the value at position I. You see how I've closed off my quotation mark there to end that string, and I've added the I value, which would be 0, 1, 2, or 3. I'm putting an extra space, is, and now I have to reference, I'm going to put some spaces in here, just 1 second, so this is a little easier to read. I'm going to reference the value in my array now, and that is family at I, or family square bracket I. Close my bracket for the print line method, and then a semicolon to end it. Let's compile and run this program. You can see the value at position 0 is Brandon, then Carrie, Tori, and Sid. And so notice that it starts at 0, it ends at 3. That's a total of 4 positions. There is no number 4 here, and the values are all here, no quotation marks or anything. The string value is just the value that's inside of the quotation marks. So there's using a classic for loop to iterate, it's called, iterate or loop through all of the values of an array and print each of them out one at a time. That's all.